right, thank you for staying with Daybreak. We're starting the conversation on the state of the nation where we talk about matters, politics, and everything in between there. At Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya, use the hashtag Daybreak. We'd like to hear your views on every subtopic that we're going to talk about. It's going to be around two issues mainly. One, the National Dialogue team seem to have agreed on 5 agenda items. We'll talk about that in just a bit. And the president says it is jail, deportation, or a trip to heaven. And he says there will be no apologies for that. Dr. Ekuru Okot is here, party leader, Third Way Alliance, and Dr. Aidan Kainan, member of parliament for Eldas, is also with us here in studio. We're still waiting for Dan Manzo, senator for Makueni. As soon as he comes in, we will rope him in to the discussion. And Dr. Aidan, I'll start with you on this. It is jail, deportation, or a trip to heaven, says the president. Civil society groups are calling that statement reckless. Do you agree?
It depends with the circumstance under which that particular statement was made.
Yeah.
You need to look at the sugar sector, the cartels, the frustrations. And it's one area. Kenya has been reduced actually to an important nation when actually our farmers have enough sugarcane, or they have the capacity to plant sugarcane and produce sugarcane. So this particular sector actually has been bedeviled with the cartels. So it might have been out of frustration. But again, you need to look at the sugar belt in Nyanza. I don't know whether that's the region where you come from. Look at the sugar belt in Western Kenya. Look at the sugar belt in Rift Valley. But that notwithstanding, we need to apply the rule of law and ensure that. And that's why nobody was arrested. It only said, the statement was, these cartels will not be allowed. So that bold statement, in my opinion, is what this country requires. Bold statements that this era of cartelism must come to an end, so that our farmers are protected, our unemployed youth are protected, our unemployed youth are protected. So we want that statement actually to be matched by action, so that this cartelism, and I believe the president means very well, because how can we have Mumias? Look at the paradox. We have 2 factories. One is privately owned, one is owned by the public. The one that is owned by the public is not working. The one that is owned by private individual is minting millions and millions of shillings in profit. So where is the problem? The problem is the management, or complicity, or circumstances that what the president actually was alluding to, that lead to cartelism. So this thing must come to an end. Once upon a time, Mumia's sugar company actually was the leading sugar manufacturer in the region. Today, it has been under receivership. What has happened? There was an attempt to privatize it. It didn't work. There was an attempt to put it under receivership. It didn't work. And right now, finally, we are told it was sold to an individual at a throwaway price. But I think these are the circumstances we must address, so that the public good outweighs the individual good. So don't look at the statement. Look at the public good. The public good is, look at the population of the sugar belt area. How many people, how many farmers have been rendered paupers because of the actions of one individual or a group of cartels? So it's because of this that, for me, I'll welcome the bold statement. Without any reference to the application of the law, the bold statement that is meant to bring this era of cartelism to an end is something that we require. And we pray that Mumias will be on its feet in the next few months, so that Kenyans stop importing sugar from Brazil and other destinations.
All right.
Yes.
Dr. Okot, is the president in order to make such statements?
No, he is not. He's very careless, because whereas we may appreciate the problems on the question of sugar production in this country and the cartels, I don't think the president should go ahead and speak recklessly the way he spoke, because his statement was basically a threat both to individuals who are supposed to be presumed either innocent or guilty, depending on the circumstance, but also a threat to the rule of law. When he says that I will send you to jail or go to heaven, he doesn't have that authority to send anybody to jail as the President of the Republic of Kenya. I mean, I would have loved to see the president, for example, make the case that this is what has happened, this is who is guilty, You know, and by the way, I'm not even defending Mr. Rai. He may have his own personal problems, and and I've heard many things about him. But even the devil deserves, respect within the rule of law. It deserves representation, fairness before the rule of law. So I think that statement coming from the president, in my view, was very reckless. Why do I say that, Trevor? Mweshia will remember that when President William Ruto was campaigning, and even after when he was being sworn in, he said that he will deal with cartels. You see, we are talking about the commander-in-chief of this country, who has all the resources within himself. He has the intelligence, he has the investigative agencies with him. So stop these public rebuttals and threats. Let's see some action. I want to see, for example, who are these cartels? Because we've been talking about cartels for the longest time in this country, and then now, luckily, we have a president who says, I will deal with the cartels because I know them. He has repeatedly said it. So why don't we begin to see some action that these cartels are arraigned in court, so that now the common good that Mwesh is rightfully speaking about can be realized. The common good cannot be realized by just mere political rhetoric and outbursts. We need to see some action from the government, that we have arrested so-and-so, we have charged so-and-so. For example, if talking of cartels, why has the president been silent on the saga in his own county, Wasingishu? The first choice. He hasn't spoken about it. We've seen parents, we've seen young people come out to actually lament and cry how they are being duped by some individuals close to him. Mandago was charged. Chepchirchir is still at large. That lady, whoever it is, the president hasn't spoken. Isn't that part of the cartels industry in this country? The cartels industry in this country, Trevor, is not only about just sugar. We've seen what's happening at immigration, Nyaya House, and many other options. So if the president really wants to be very honest to the people of Kenya, and he wants to be taken seriously, then let him speak about all the cartels and all the people who are negatively impacting or affecting Kenyans in this country.
Okay.
But more over and above that, let's see some action, please.
Okay.
Some action.
All right. And Dr. Keenan, you call this a bold statement that should be backed by action, but where is the space for due process in law? Because the moment the president said that, then one of the companies that was challenging the leasing of Mumia's sugar to Uganda-based Mela Sarai Group has filed a notice of Court of Appeal to withdraw the case. Where's the due process? Space for that?
I think we are reading too much politics into the statement. I don't think, I have heard and I've watched that clip, I don't think whether the president said he will send so-and-so to jail. No, he said should go to jail. This means completely different. Should go to jail means at least some due process expected. He didn't say he will send so-and-so to jail, because that's not the work of the president. It's not the work of the president to send anybody to jail. Should go to jail. These are two different statements, and I think we should not amplify. The intention was...
Can we replay that clip?
Yes, the intention... No, he didn't say we will send to jail. I didn't hear that.
Okay, we'll replay the clip.
You can. But the bit about this is, let's look at the intention. Are the sugar belt farmers suffering? Yes. Has this area been bedeviled by cartelism? Yes. Are some of the cartels known? Yes. Was the president in Western Kenya? Yes. To interact with the public? Yes. Did that issue arise from the public interaction? Yes. Was it a spontaneous reaction as a result of the public money? So I think you need to look at the circumstances. On the issue of
there is only one yes, Mheshimiwa, not to interrupt you. There is only one yes you have not confirmed. If the sugar cartels are known, have affected the people, have they been charged?
Can I finish? Yeah. Can I finish? It's a due process. It's a due process. You have heard the other day the Minister for Internal Security, the issue of Nyaya House, declare Nyaya House a crime scene. And you know the meaning of a crime scene. A crime scene is a place where an issue must have been investigated, a decision made that this is an embodiment of crime that has been investigated and determined, and somebody ought to be taken to a court of law. Okay. That was a bold statement from the Minister of Internal Security. What remains, we have seen some arrests. And it's not a one-day thing. The issue of Nyaya House and migration has been on even before you were born. So the fact that a minister in that office went public and say we have a problem, you know, in problem solving, you must identify that there's a problem. You must speak about it. You must find a solution. So in problem solving, there are steps. That is what Professor Kindiki has done, and we commend him, and we have seen some arrest, and we hope the next thing that we expect is to clean the whole area. It's also unfair you know, the fact that the president comes from Eldoret does not mean that he prefects every small thing that happens in Rift Valley. The other day when he was in Eldoret...
Why should he prefect?
No, allow me to do this. The other day when he was in Eldoret, and this issue is sub judice, it's before court. I do not want to delve in the merits and demerits of the issue of Madago. But he went public and said, like, all those who are involved should carry there. What else will you have done? And we have seen arrest. If you expect him to do this issue of first choice, what are they called?
First choice.
First choice. I think that's also, it's going through a parliamentary process.
The Senate.
Of the Senate.
And she was out for being out.
So it's only fair. It's only fair. You look at the chair. The chair who sent her out is a member of Kenya Kwanza parliamentary group. So meaning that itself is a bold step, which means that person did not satisfy what the committee expected to get. So it's a due process. Because what is happening in Parliament is that different enjoys, you know, the role of Parliament. I'm sure as a lawyer you understand, person to Article 125 has read Article 95, Parliament has its own independent jurisdiction. So when an issue is before Parliament, just like it's Parliament is a quasi-judicial institution, it's just like a court of law.
But you don't see any relationship between the withdrawal of a case between Mumia's Sugar being leased to Uganda by Sarai Group.
Maybe even that is part of the cartelism. Maybe they know that time now is they're under pressure.
But
so
that was already in court.
I'm not familiar. I'm not
going to be due process.
What I'm saying, I'm not familiar with that particular case. I've only seen the headline. I must say I'm disadvantaged. But I think one thing that is a fact. This country, take for example, I'll tell you where I come from, where he comes from. Once upon a time, we used to have a vibrant Kenya Meat Commission. Vibrant Kenya Meat Commission. And under Kenya Meat Commission, we used to have livestock marketing division. It's dead. Kenya Meat Commission is just floated. Even the land where the factory is situated is owned by cartels. We used to have livestock holding grounds. It's gone. How did it happen? If somebody starts addressing that particular phenomenon of cartelism in the livestock subsector, you will realize that many people, including myself, will clap and say, look, this is what we needed. But is it a one-day event? No. I think let's allow the government. For me, what is gratifying is this. We are talking about cartelism boldly. We have identified they were there. And we all knew they were there. This is the first time we are seeing this sector is bedeviled by these particular cartels, and we are going to deal with them. We are going to deal with them through policy formulations, through the application of the penal code or the criminal justice system, or through other mechanisms. And once and for all, it's difficult. We'll reduce this menace of cartelism. We can't eradicate
those other mechanisms.
You know, Trevor and Mwesh, with utmost respect, we've talked about cartels in this country for the longest time, especially by a government that has got all the resources to be able to expose. These cartels are not ghosts. They are not an abstract reality. If you're talking about, for example, the sugar industry in this country, and you're saying they are cartels, deal with them. Kenyans are expecting that you will now expose who these individuals, who are these players? Who are these players? And what is it that they're actually doing to affect the, the livelihoods of that farmer in Mumias, in Western Kenya, and all that? So this abstract and political talk is not enough for Kenyans. Kenyans want to see action. Kenyans, for example, want to see, okay, when you said that we have the plan, we're going to implement it, we want to see that plan being implemented. Too much talk does not help. I think for me, Trevor, it is bad to keep on talking about cartels as if there are some ghosts. Mwesh has clearly said, I mean, for example, if it is the Meat Commission, Kenya Meat Commission, who killed it, somebody must have been responsible for it. Today, yes, and I'm happy that people like Mandago and others have been charged in a court of law. But the truth for the matter also is, Trevor, and we live in this country, we know that, for example, cases, I mean, there's a lot of cosmeticness and PR in the resolution of problems that affect this country. I would not be surprised that even if today somebody was charged in a court of law, that those cases will be dropped. We have seen many cases being dropped for lack of evidence. And yet the same government is complaining about the problem that affects these people. So we have to be skeptical about what the government actually wants to do. We have to be skeptical when the president chooses to speak about Mumias but doesn't want to speak about the cartels in his own county of Uasin Gishu. So let's not pretend. If you're going to be cut across, you're our father figure, Mwesh, I mean, as a president. So speak about all the problems that affect the people of Kenya equitably.
Okay.
And I'm not saying you should take sides.
Dr. Kenan, you wanted us to play the sound, but let's play it now. And then we also bring in Dan Manzo.
Before even you play, you will play. Yes. Before even you play, there's something.
I see Manzo is...
no, you remember, there's the issue of tea cartels. You have had the Deputy President, Rick G, clearly calling out even their names.
Okay.
The coffee cartels, the tea cartels.
All right.
Deputy President Rick G is part of the presidency. You have had they are doing it in central Kenya and also part of the Rift Valley, the tea growing, coffee growing areas. You have had the other day, the president was also in Coast. He talked about the KPA cartels.
Okay.
And the way so I think this is, you see...
You think it's cross-cutting?
It's cross-cutting. It's the whole country.
Totally
depending. The president was in Western Kenya, and that's where the sugar belt is. And therefore, that comment was alive to that particular region. Okay. When he was in Mount Kenya, the issues were the coffee cartels, the tea cartels, the Baidaram cartels, those others. When he was in
but even when he was
I'm under pressure to say this.
Listen to this. When, I know tomorrow when he comes to Northern Kenya, the first thing that the livestock farmers will ask is, when are you going to revive Kenya Meat Commission? When are we going to have a vibrant Kenya Meat Commission?
Okay.
When he goes to Nyanza, the fish farmers will say, when are we going to... And that's the reality. Okay. Because even in the fish industry, there are cartels, because we import fish from China and other destinations where we still have...
I have a really pressing issue.
So it's because of this, that my friend has done. And let's also remember, this government is barely 10 months. Actually,
another excuse.
1 year barely...
Okay, let's say
I'm concluding this. 1 year in office, and out of that 1 year, I think 9 months they have spent under the mandamano phenomenon. So let's allow them time. Let's allow them time to work. And I have no doubt in my mind with the policies that I've seen. With the policies that I've seen, in 1 year's time, in 1.5 years' time, you will see a reversal of all the bad policies that were going on.
Trevor, all right, and you know, my brother here, my fellow nomad here, is adding another excuse. Oh, it's only 1 year. It's okay. It can be 1 year, it can be 6 months, but you're the same people who came up with the timelines. You told us by due date, by this and that, meaning you actually, I mean, and I'll repeat here, William Samuel Ruto and his government are not new in government of the Republic of Kenya. The only regime that William Ruto has never served in was the Kenyatta regime. He was in the Kanu regime from as early as 1992. He was in the Kibaki, he was in the Uhuru Kenyatta regime, and served as deputy president for 10 years. So this is a man, when he presented himself as having a plan of action for this country, there was every reason to believe him that he actually knows where the problem in this country is. But Mwesh, I want to agree with you. Cartels are there. This is not news to us.
Okay.
We have had it many times. What Kenyans are now asking, deconstruct it.
Okay.
What are the cartels in the sugar belt done for this country? What are the cartels in the immigration, in the Kenya Meat Commission? And now reduce it to facts and issues. Who are those cartels? Unmask them for us. We cannot keep on talking about cartels in government, and you are running a government. So who is the guy in government who is actually messing up Kenyans?
But I think...
in terms of the rule of law, so let's not leave it abstract, Trevor. Can we unmask them? And I think at this point, let's play the clip and let's welcome...
Let's take a quick break first. When we come back, we'll welcome in Dan Manzo, Senator for Makueni, and also play that clip and talk about the agenda that the National Dialogue has agreed on. 5 items on the agenda. That's coming up in just a bit. Keep your views coming at Trevor Mbijat, Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak.